What's happening, everybody? Good morning to you. I'm trying to hit some buttons for you. I'm going to be producing today's show. There we go. Let's do a show today, everybody. What's happening? My name is Marc Farzetta. I'll be with you for the next hour here on the program, as per usual, at the Steven Singer Studios. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, at least a much better weekend than the Philadelphia Phillies, who lost 2 of 3 to the Cincinnati Reds, and again lost possession of first place. At least sole possession of first place, but now they're totally out of first place, so that's fun. Looking up at the Atlanta Braves again. Good times. I was at a wedding in Pittsburgh over the weekend. Pittsburgh's a lovely town. It's really grown a lot over the last 10, 15 years. Really like it. Hate all their sports teams, but I like the town. And I didn't get a chance to watch Matt Moore's stellar no-hit performance of 6 innings over the week. I didn't get the chance to watch it live. I had to go back and watch it. But I'm getting text messages from friends while I'm at this wedding in the cocktail hour. I'm getting text messages from friends being like, whoa, Matt Moore. And then like the eye-looking emoji, and he looks great, and that whole thing. And I couldn't wait to sit down in front of a TV and actually absorb this ballgame. I was amazed by it. And I still can't believe for the life of me. Well, I can, because I understand baseball nowadays and the way they do things. And there's certain things that they don't want to do with pitchers because they're afraid of getting them hurt and all that stuff. But you just don't take a guy out when he's got no hitter going. Unless that guy is coming off like an injured list stint, and you got to be really careful that you don't, really hurt him. That's the only time. We'll get into that conversation. We'll get into the full conversation as far as the Phillies go, with losing 2 or 3 to the Reds and losing first place, unfortunately, now with the Braves being up there. So we'll get into that conversation. We got some Summer League basketball to get into here with the 76ers, and B-Ball Paul putting up himself a historic day. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some of the Philadelphia Eagles that are up there in the top 100 in the NFL, some names that have already come out. Brandon Graham's on that list, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox. So we'll get into that conversation today. My dear friend, I was telling you guys we're going to have a special guest, and then we didn't have a special guest, and then we had a special guest, Adam Kaplan. Now we're going to have another special guest. Natalie Aganoff joins the show today. Natalie is one of my dearest friends that I've made in my 15 years in the business and all that, and I am just thrilled for her and her new position at Parks Casino and Sportsbook. So we'll talk to Natalie a little bit later on in today's show. We'll get her reactions with the Eagles and their first preseason game. We got the Patriots coming into town for a joint practice. So Bill Belichick and Nick Ciriotti will be right there comparing notes at the NovaCare Complex. So we'll get into that conversation. Natalie will also tell us whether or not she feels the Phillies are going to actually make the playoffs after this weekend. It's a little tough one. Just get us back to the NL East as fast as humanly possible. That's all I ask. So Natalie will be joining us coming up in just a couple of minutes. Here's a good thing about me producing. I get to see your comments right away, and I can do stuff like this. Ready? Check this out. You know that guy Dan Schwartz? Boom! Right there. Bottom of the screen. Morning, everybody. That's nice. Mally, the famous Mally. There he is right there. Mark, producer Jim, chat, good morning, everyone. It's producer Mark today. So we'll have some fun with all your comments, of course, as we always do, with our social media check-in coming up after our interview, as per usual. Let's start it off with Nick Ciriotti and his press conference just the other day on Saturday came out to address the media, give everybody his thoughts on everything that took place in the football game on Thursday night. And one of the first people he talked about during his media session was, of course, Jalen Hurts. And there's a couple of things I thought was interesting. One thing that he came out and said, and you never hear a coach say this, he said that sometimes you go and watch the tape and you realize what you said in the post-game press conference wasn't accurate. He said, but this time around, it was accurate. And I just thought that was an interesting way to start off his first ever day after game press conference, like that type of thing. Like after he got to watch the film, digest the film, it was the first time I've heard a coach acknowledge that, where I got to go back and I got to look at it. Sometimes it's different, but just so you know, sometimes it's different. So I thought it was kind of setting up how he's going to address us after every single game that he does have as an Eagles head coach. So anyway, I just thought that was an interesting little tidbit. You don't hear that from coaches, really. Sometimes your opinions change after you watch the tape. And he said in this instance, it did not. Remember when we left on Friday, we were talking about how Nick Sirianni said after the game it was a crisp first half for the first and second team. And boy, was it. It was clean. For a guy who never coached a game before, for a team that had never played for the coach before, to go in any type of game situation, live action, yeah, it was crisp and clean. That's a good thing to take away from him. He said second half, not so much, and we all acknowledged that on Friday as well. So moving on. Jalen Hurts, one of the first people he talked about. Here's Nick Sirianni after he watched the tape with Jalen Hurts.
Gosh, I thought he played better than I even thought when I got into the room on Thursday night. I just thought he was in complete command of the offense. Again, we're talking about 10 plays, right? But you're still evaluating those like it's 60. So great command of the offense, great checks, great, perfect ball to Dallas on that check that he made that allowed, when you put the ball where he put that ball, that's where you get yards after catch, and Dallas was strong with the run. But yeah, I was really pleased with the way he played. There's one or two that I'm like, I wanted you to step up and rip it back to the backside, but that's what we're learning from that.
That was the best I've ever heard Nick Sirianni talk about Jalen Hurts. That was the most optimistic, most positive, most affirmation. It was affirmation if you're Jalen Hurts yourself and you're listening to your head coach say glowing things about you. And as he did say, it's 10 plays, but you evaluate them like they're 60 plays. I can't tell you how impressed I was with Jalen Hurts just in that preseason game. For his the highest mark you could possibly give somebody for a preseason game, he was pretty much up there in the 10 plays that Nick Sirianni just highlighted. There was one particular play you heard him talking about there where maybe scanned the field before his scramble and maybe hit Dallas Goedert on what could have been another big play. That's not the way it played out. But if you are going to critique your young quarterback, that's one of the first plays he's going to start off with. What really jumped out to me about it was, once more, that was the most optimistic, the most glowing review I have heard from Nick Sirianni talk about a guy that, as it seems right now, as Adam Kaplan told us on Friday morning, it really feels like that Deshaun Watson story is starting to go by the wayside. It feels like it's starting to leave the room. You're not hearing too many rumblings. You're not hearing many updates on what's going on with Deshaun Watson. You're not really hearing much at all when it comes to what's going on in the Deshaun Watson front. As a matter of fact, it seems like all is quiet on the Watson front right now. This could be the moment where the Eagles get their evaluation of Jalen Hurts based on what he did last year, most importantly, in actual regular season games, not just preseason games. But if the Eagles are requesting for Jalen Hurts, as they should for every quarterback they ever have, just like throughout the entire NFL, take the reins, I think Jalen Hurts had a great first step in terms of taking the reins as QB number 1 in his first preseason game. We got plenty of Eagles coverage we're going to get to a little bit later in the show. Like I said, we're going to talk to our friend Natalie Aganoff coming up in a second about all that. One of the biggest stories of the weekend, if not the biggest story of the weekend, had to do with the Phillies. And Matt Moore was pitching for the Phillies on Saturday. And he was cruising. And there was just certain times you get to watch a pitcher, and even for a guy like Matt Moore, where you're not used to seeing him cruise, he was cruising. And he was throwing a great game. And he was hitting spots on the outside corner. He was making guys flail at pitches. He was keeping hitters off balance. But the whole time you're thinking, how long is Joe Girardi going to let this go? When he started to get up there in innings, or up there in pitches, for his pitch count at least, you started to think to yourself, is he going to let him come out for the 5th? Is he going to let him come out for the 6th? And he did, and he was pitching great. And he had a no-hitter going on Saturday. And despite having that no-hitter going on Saturday, Joe Girardi took him out of the ballgame. This is what Joe had to say about it on Saturday. We'll respond to it. Listen to Joe Girardi.
He's an experienced guy that's won a lot of big games. And he knows how to pitch. And, God, today he was outstanding. And I hated to take him out. I think he threw 52 about 9 or 10 days ago. And we just felt like we couldn't push him any further. But he was brilliant today. No. I love the way he was throwing the ball, and they were in a tough part of the order. There were a couple walks that he had in that part of the order. If the circumstances are a little bit different and he's more built up, as well he was throwing the baseball. you maybe go a little further with it. I went down and talked to him, and I just said, I hate to do this to you. And he's like, I get it. I understand. And I just said, we need you to make another start. I can't hurt you. So, you'd feel pretty good about him giving you 85 to 90 the next time. I thought his changeup, I thought his curveball was a big weapon too.
One of the things that just jumped out to me was, again, just the control that he had, that he was in that kind of cruise control type of state of mind where he had ultimate clarity or whatever you want to call it. That was the best you've seen him pitch all year for the Phillies. And if you would have told me going into the series that Zach Wheeler was going to get hit and Aaron Nola was going to get hit and Matt Moore was going to be your guy in this series, I would have said you were crazy. That's a game of baseball. So after the sixth inning, after 76 pitches, Joe Girardi walked over to him, as you just heard him say, I'm taking you out. And Matt Moore's mentality was, hey, I get it, I understand. I don't know how the hell that's your mentality to start. Maybe you're done. Maybe your body well enough to know that the next couple of pitches could be it for you, and you might have to shut it down after that for a couple of weeks, which is obviously something the Phillies can't really afford to do when it comes to any starting pitcher right now on this lineup, on this rotation. But when are you going to get that again from Matt Moore anyway? I mean, you're gonna end up having a bullpen game down the line anyway with Matt Moore. It's not like Matt Moore has another one of these in his pocket. And if he does, good for him. And good for Joe Girardi for knowing that. But I can't in any way justify taking out a pitcher when you have at least maybe one more inning to give. If you're Matt Moore, when are you going to be in that position again to be cruising through 6 innings of work, 76 pitches at that point? How do you not at least argue for one more inning? Let me see where I go with this next one. And then if he gets in trouble, then you take him out. Or if he starts to get really tired, then you take him out. Not going out for the 7th inning to at least give him a shot at it is just crazy to me. And especially with as bad as the bullpen has been this season, why not let a starting pitcher go out there? And I'll tell you why. Their answer is injury. And I hate that this is the era we're in right now in baseball, and we've been in this era for a long time. It's nothing new, where everyone's terrified of over-pitching a pitcher. And you can go back to the days of Ben McDonald. You can go back to the days of Matt Pryor. Mark Pryor. All these guys with the Cubs, for instance, Kerry Wood being another one. Guys that you were worried you're going to burn out their arms. And that's really where you started to see this whole pitch count idea come in. So it's been going on for 20 plus years. It's nothing new. And I get that's baseball's philosophy. I hate baseball's philosophy. And I want, like many people, ball players to be able to go out there and take the baseball and say, oh, wait, I got a no-hitter going? Let's go. Who was it for the Yankees years ago? I think David Cohn just came off then the disabled list, now the injured list. And he was out there for the Yankees, and he was pitching a perfect game. And then they took him out because he had reached his limit. He was just coming off the injured list. You couldn't have him go out there anymore. It's a different situation with Matt Moore. Joe Girardi even said he hated to take him out. He knows what was at stake, but he can't hurt him. I hate that that's the mentality. And that's the way the game's like being afraid to get hurt rather than giving someone the opportunity. Look, the no-hitter, that would have been great. We all get it. That would have been awesome. But I highly doubt that would have been the case. And they won the ball game, which is the most important thing. But if you're just thinking from Matt Moore's perspective and also down the line when it comes to this bullpen, why not give him another inning just to see where it went? If you're Matt Moore, how do you not argue for that? If that's the real story, Joe Girardi going down there to talk to Matt Moore, and Matt Moore's like, I get it. Well, then fine. I mean, I guess you either didn't want it or you felt like you were just gassed at that point anyway. I think everyone there obviously would have loved to see the no-hitter. I think Matt Moore would have loved to have gotten a no-hitter. And I also would have loved to maybe spell Hector Neris, who wasn't so sharp the following day, yesterday, as really nobody on the Phillies was pretty sharp yesterday at all. I hate the mentality is you have history in the making, and in the back of your mind, you're going, when should I take him out, even though he's pitching really well? I hate that mentality. And it's way too much in baseball right now. I despise it. So anyway, the most important thing over the weekend, unfortunately, is that the Phillies are in a spot right now where they have to catch the Braves, and none of us really wanted that. Not a one wanted us for that to be the case. By the way, also 8 strikeouts for Matt Moore. It wasn't just about no hits or anything like that. But Matt Moore, 8 strikeouts. So good for him. Hopefully a taste of things to come for the rest of the season, because the Phillies could certainly use a surprise in this rotation. Other than Aaron Nola not having a good start after having some good starts, they could certainly use a surprise for somebody in this rotation to start pulling them along as the season winds down. And again, you try to get back to first place. Phillies now have an off day. They're going to get things underway with the Diamondbacks. They got a little bit of a road trip here as they go to face the Arizona Diamondbacks. More on the Diamondbacks and what they've been up to coming up in our Morning Rush segment. Phillies are going to go to Arizona for 3. Then they're going to go to San Diego for 3 before hosting the Tampa Bay Rays. After that, you're going to have a homestand against the Rays and the Diamondbacks one more time. And then you got 6 games coming up in the NL East, 3 against Washington, 3 against Miami to start off September. So we'll see how all that goes. We got a fight coming up here a little bit later on in the show in, I believe it was Los Angeles. And it didn't involve Eagles fans. So that's always a nice thing for us. We'll get to that in our Morning Rush segment. But right now, I want to tell you about my good friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Do what I do. Every time you have a big jewelry purchase, trust my friend Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, or right there on IHateStevenSinger.com. Always fast and free shipping at IHateStevenSinger.com. My cousin that got engaged over the weekend, I was looking at the jewelry right there, and you know where he went? I'll tell you. He knows the deal. Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. You know what is funny? He didn't even ask me about it. He didn't say, hey, tell Steven I'm coming. He just went. He hears me talking about it all the time. He knows that's where I went for my engagement rings and my wedding rings as well, my wedding bands. It is engagement rings. Did I say engagement rings? It was one engagement ring I bought. I didn't present my wife with 3 of them. And then, you know, we're not besties, right? But when it comes to everything that Steven does for the community here, it's wild. Through the pandemic, he helped take care of hospital workers. He helped thank the first responders, and he does it every single day also with everyone in Philadelphia that goes into his store, because he wants you to know every time you're going there, you're not getting some crazy markup on a diamond ring. No. You're getting the perfect price every single time. So when you go in, you don't have to worry about anything that's marked up too high. You don't have to worry about negotiating, haggling, anything like that. You can simply relax and have a real jewelry expert walk you through everything at Steven Singer Jewelers. Do what I do. The other corner of 8th and Walnut, right in Philadelphia, right there on Jewelers Row. And make sure you trust my friend, Steven Singer of Steven Singer Jewelers. Without further ado, let's get to another great friend of mine. Known her for a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, she's got a great story to tell as well. Lipstick League, Parks Casino and Sportsbook, all she's going to be doing in there. Let's talk to my good friend, the great Natalie Aganoff. Joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my dear friend. You know her, you love her. Formerly now the Mike Miss Nelly Show. We were all wondering where she was going, wondering what she was doing next. Host, producer, director, just about everything for Parks Casino Sportsbook, social media, all that fine content that's going to be out there. That piping hot content will come your way, courtesy of the great Natalie Aganoff. What's up, Natalie?
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. I finally get to do your show.
I know, right? I'm not even kidding you. People in my comment section, the great people in the comment section that get up to do the show live with me every morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
They got to get Natalie. When's Natalie coming on? You have to have Natalie on.
Really?
Boom,
I feel so special. Here I am.
I kid you not. And here you are. And of course, also co-host of the Lipstick League. You and Nicole Mahalik doing a great job with that as well.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun. The podcast is so fun. It's like a passion project, you know. Her and I met, and she loves sports, and she always listened to Mikey Miss. So she's like, when you got on the show, I thought to myself, oh my God, there's a female on the show. And I feel like we would be kindred spirits. So then we met and hit it off and kind of came up with the Lipstick League. It's our little baby. So it's been so fun to do it since I guess we launched in December, I think. And yeah, you know, it's one of those things that you plant the seed in hopes it grows organically, because as we all know, there is no such thing as an overnight success in this business or anything that actually requires work and dedication. So it's awesome. And she's amazing to work with. And we're just having so much fun with it. We've had great guests, Chris Long and his wife, Meg. Joy Taylor just joined the show. We kind of did like a fan feature with women from all over the country. We have a lot of great guests coming up. So Lipstick League on all of your podcasting platforms. And if you do listen, make sure that you like, subscribe, and leave a review.
Oh, there you go.
There's my Lipstick League pitch.
Well, for those that don't know, you and I go way back.
Way back.
Way back. It's in like I was the promotions director at WIP.
Yeah.
For I call it my 1 year of purgatory. Like if purgatory existed, I don't have to go. I'll go straight to heaven because I was a promotions director in radio for a year.
Absolutely.
And I was walking back to my office. I had an office, so it was kind of a big deal. And I remember I was walking back to my office, and you were sitting in my office, and we had never met before.
No.
And Michael Baldini, who's running his own racket now, as a matter of fact, with Parks Casino.
Yeah, he's great.
He says, Mark, you got to hire this girl. And I go, oh, I'll see about that. And at the time, I had all my Frank Sinatra memorabilia and Rat Pack memorabilia around my office.
Yes.
And it turns out you were a huge fan, so you and I hit it off. You get hired, and the rest is history. But you had a long road to get where you were in radio.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think it happens overnight. As you mentioned, it does not.
No.
So you worked your tail off, and you have this great opportunity with Mikey Miss. Yeah. Another opportunity, I guess, comes knocking, and you're in this different avenue now.
Yeah, like you said, that year, I think that was the end of 2008, the beginning of 2009. So we're going back.
The Phillies had just won the World Series.
The Phillies had just won the World Series. So that's how long ago we're talking that I, kind of sunk my teeth into try and get my foot in the door in radio. I was 19 years old or 20 years old. I was essentially a child. I look at my little sister now who's 20 and I'm like, how did no wonder everybody treated me like I was 5. But no, I was a baby and I really just wanted to get my foot in the door. And Mike Baldini brought me in and he said, there's this promotions job for you. I'm going to have you meet with Mark. So I remember sitting in your office and looking at all of your posters and thinking, oh, it's going to be like a 6-year-old guy because it's Frank Sinatra. And I love Frank Sinatra just from, my grandmother who absolutely adored him. And then in you walked, and I don't think that you left out the most important part of our initial meeting was your handlebar mustache. So
no. The way you always tell this story is that I had a handlebar mustache. I did not have the handlebar mustache until Wing Bowl, which I think was like 2 days down the line or something like that.
No, I think it was the next day.
I had a goatee.
I swear you had the handlebar that day. Well, it's like scorned in my memory. It went from here all the way down.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't just a handlebar. It was the handlebar. I think it could have just kept going down your neck and all the way like down your chest. I was so confused when you walked into the office because I was expecting, like I said, I knew nothing about radio at all or who ran it or who worked it. And, in my mind and growing up in Philly, you don't have access to that type of stuff. My dad was an electrician. My mom was a bartender growing up. So I'm thinking I'm at the Taj Mahal and it's all run by these old school, radio jingle guys. And then so the Frank posters and you come in with the handlebar. Hired me in promotions. Then I was the receptionist at WIP for quite a few years. Landed my segment with Angelo in 2011, which is now a decade ago.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that?
Man.
Did the WIP morning show for 4 years while working various other jobs, NBC Sports, regional with you. So many other things I sunk my teeth into, Phillies Nation TV. We did the 700 level show together. Mark and I basically did every show together until we each got our own jobs.
Right. Exactly.
In broadcasting.
I think until we officially grew up. And I just love the idea of you sitting in that office with all the Sinatra stuff and just expecting like Sid Mark to come in.
That's essentially who I thought was going to come in and say, hi, little darling, you want to work in the radio biz? This is show business, baby.
Come in smoking a cigarette with a typewriter and everything.
Yeah,
Exactly.
essentially. Yeah.
Suspenders, a fat tie.
Yeah.
I must have been about 25, I guess, 26 at that time. So I think there was a couple of babies in that room, as a matter of fact.
For sure.
So this opportunity comes along, and I know a lot of people were surprised when it was Ty, when you made the announcement you were going to leave the Fanatic and the Mike Missinelli show. I'm sure, without question, a difficult decision.
Yeah, it was hard for me. I'd always, after the pandemic and we were all kind of forced to sit down and think about where we wanted to take our lives. I don't think it's just in this business. I think in a lot of businesses, it definitely made people reevaluate what they wanted out of their lives and what they wanted to do. And, I had kind of always wanted a larger role in the media when it came to decision making and being able to be creative with the content and kind of guiding others on how to execute content, because I think I know what's good, right? And I just wanted to grow in my career. And the Mike Missinelli Show was an absolute phenomenal chapter of my life and of my career. He was amazing to me. Tyrone was amazing to me. We had so much fun on the airwaves. We went through so much together. We went through the pandemic together. We went through a lot of the stuff behind the scenes that people don't know about together. And, when you spend 40 hours a week with two people exclusively, you form this special bond. And I think the chemistry that came out of that over the years, and then being on TV with it, I think we performed at a really high level, and I think we really entertained people, and especially having the opportunity to do that through 2020 when the world was just such a different place. It was so special to me to have the ability to do that, and we would get emails saying, I'm home alone in the pandemic because I can't see anybody, but I see you three on my TV. And that was just so special to me. And I'll always be so thankful for the time that I had on the Mike Missinelli Show. But, I wanted something more for myself. And I had heard about, Parks kind of looking for people. They wanted to launch this new project. I honestly thought it was going to be an opportunity that I could do on the side from Mike's show. And then I learned a little bit more about the role and thought to myself, this is perfect for me. I have always operated in the social media space. My Twitter, people tell me, you're very entertaining on Twitter. And I don't intentionally do it. That's just me being myself and my personality. So that's how I essentially grew my personal brand. And, back in the day when I started in radio, Twitter was brand new. It was 2009. So I came up through the industry with social media. So I feel as though I always had kind of a good instinct on how to utilize it for myself to advance my career. So now to be able to take this next step and work with the amazing people at Park Sportsbook I work with these two brilliant men, Matt and Gil, and they came here from San Francisco within the last couple of years to kind of spearhead this project. And they wanted to take it to the next level. And I said to them, this is where the sports media is going, because again, you look at the pandemic and what changed the trajectory. There were no sports, right? So ESPN, NBC National, all these networks changed their programming, laid off a lot of employees, and online gambling seemed to be the only thing that not only survived, but kind of thrived in that time because everybody was home and everybody was on their phone. So you're kind of forced to enter this internet space. So I thought to myself last year, I can't believe that nobody has made a network out of this yet, And so when I talked to Matt and Gil and they told me their grand dreams for this, I thought, wow, this seems like something that I want to get involved with and I want to sink my teeth into. And, it's cool for me, and everybody kind of makes fun of me because I'm like Philly. But no, I'm a Philly girl. And I remember when Parks was being built up on Street Road in Bensalem, for years and years, I had just gone to the Pennsylvania Fair there when it was the racetrack, when I was, little Natalie Aganoff. And what they've done, I think, for the area has been really good. And I don't know if people know this, but they invest so much in the community as well. And I'm not just saying this because I work for them now. They have education initiatives with the Community College of Philadelphia and invest millions of dollars into various organizations around Philadelphia. So since I've been there and I'm on site at Parks a lot, their diversity initiatives and the way that they treat women and their the organization as a whole is just so aligns with who I am. They had a Juneteenth museum in the cafeteria on the side room for the employees who wanted to commemorate that event, that moment in history that I think, a lot of people just learned about, right? But
Sure.
Parks is sinking their teeth in and making sure that they are a good company to work for. And that's what I've learned since I started there a few weeks ago. And it's amazing. It's a great company. And this part is so new. So, we're kind of all figuring it out as we go along. But I'm so thrilled that I took the leap, and it's scary. You got to take the leap to learn how to fly. I think that's some sort of, that's kind of a cliche, but it's so true. And it was scary for me leaving the nest where I've been in sports talk radio again since I was 19 years old. So I grew up in Philadelphia sports talk radio, which probably terrifies some people but might explain a lot about my personality. But no, it seemed like the natural next step. And again, it's the number one casino in Pennsylvania. And this Parks Interactive, this subset of it is, they're visionaries. And I'm excited that I get to still do my thing and be the face of content, but also kind of have my hands on in helping create it and build something. So yeah, we have Dee Lynam on board. We have Sam Wilson on board. They've been awesome this whole time. Dee's incredible. It's amazing to have her presence and just her knowledge and what she can bring to the table. And Sam, is young. You worked with Samantha, and
awesome.
Just sinking your teeth in and having a lot of fun with it. And it's going to be a great opportunity for her. So the three of us, I think it's really neat to be a part of this initial trio that's helping launch it. And then not only that, we have plans there's a lot of other people involved who are going to get involved, and we have some names. I can't reveal them yet, but you could stay tuned for that next announcement. It's going to be neat, and yeah, it's going to be fun, and it's going to be funny, and it's not going to be the gambling content that everybody thinks it's going to be, because we're not talking about lines and stuff. That's going to be a part of it, clearly, but this is more just traditional sports programming in an online space. It's nothing that you wouldn't see on ESPN or NBC Sports Philadelphia or anything like that. So I'm excited. And there's my rant about, there's my pitch for Parks.
I'm sorry, I blacked out. Can you start over? When I saw the announcement, I was wildly excited for you. I know what a creative mind you have. I know how your brain operates because I've known you for so long. And I just thought, okay, boom, there it is right there. That's exactly what she needs to be doing. So I couldn't be happier for it. On a personal note, congratulations on that. I know we're going to get into some Eagles conversation here, some Phillies conversation and all that stuff. I just want to get a couple of general questions out of the way here. Eagles this season, 17-game season. How many wins are you expecting this year for the Eagles? What do you see in there?
I'm so torn, right? Because and this is what I've struggled with through my entire career. And I used to say this on the air on the Mike Misnelli show. The rational part of my brain says to me 5 or 6, right? Ooh. But the fan part of my brain is like, we're going to the Super Bowl. It's this terrible, disease that Philadelphia sports fans have that we're afflicted with, that we just kind of want to believe, even though all signs indicate that's probably not the case. I'm going to be fair. And I think I'm going to say 7,
right around that 500 mark.
500. I have no idea what to make of the Jalen Hurts situation, because I know that some of the reports say that he's doing great. Some of the reports say that he's not doing so great. Some of the internal chatter that I'm hearing is that the Eagles aren't in love with him. Mm-hmm. But I do like his work ethic. I do like how he's really, what did he say? The rent's due when you have to pay it, or
every day. The rent's due every day.
The rent's due every day. I like his approach and his work ethic. And I think that he can find a rhythm with the new receivers and kind of take this team and make it his own. But what worries me is if the Eagles aren't fully invested in him. I don't want that to get into his head. So I don't know what to make of it. I'm a little worried about the offensive line. I'm really glad Mailata's stepping up, and he's going to get that opportunity. But, you have like Lane Johnson, Brandon Brooks. We don't know. Lane seems to be doing all right. Brandon Brooks, we don't know about his situation. He's out now. I'm always worried about injuries. And I hate preseason just as a person, because you look at what happened over the weekend and so many of these players get injured, and it's for what? So I don't know. I'm apprehensive about the Eagles. I always like to think that I'm optimistic, but it's a tortured existence being a Philadelphia Eagles fan and then having to look at them objectively and kind of give an opinion on them, because it's tough. And I don't know what to make of them yet, because I've never seen this team before, right? Even last year with Carson, you kind of had a little bit more of an idea of the team, of the potential that team could have, because you had Carson and you had Zach Ertz and you have all the receivers and Alshon and Jalen Reagor and, Doug Peterson. It was kind of familiar. This team is brand new, like brand new. Nick Sirianni, brand new. It's an interesting time to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I think.
Certainly with all the turnover, no questions. But I'm around where you're at right now. I do think 7's realistic, but I think for me, it's like a baseline of 7. Like I think if Jalen Hurts,
not the ceiling, you think that's the basement.
I think that's where we're starting. That's where we're starting, and it's not even me being a homer. I just think that defensively speaking, Jonathan Gannon, you're talking about Nick Sirianni being new, same thing with Jonathan Gannon.
Right.
I think this defense can play really well. I think they can play at a high level. I still don't think the NFC East is anything great. The Cowboys are a very good football team. It pains me to admit it, but they're going to be a good football team. I just think a lot rides on Jalen Hurts, and I think Jalen Hurts can play. And you also have a good amount of weapons. If Zach Ertz isn't traded, and you still have Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz and Miles Sanders with that healthy offensive line that you talked about, and maybe Devontae Smith playing at a high level, I think there's great potential here to surprise a lot of people.
He's the most, I'm looking forward the most to seeing him, because I swear his feet look like the road runner whenever he runs. And I watched the same highlight reel of his from college over and over again. And the ability for him to, kind of remove himself from, he's able to maneuver his body to get on the outside and to get where he needs to go. And there's some plays that he's made where I don't even know how his hands could catch the ball, because he's under triple coverage, right? And all of a sudden it's like his hand just goes like this. It's like a snake charmer. He goes like this and like comes up and catches the ball. And I'm thinking to myself, how did you squeeze your body in there and then be able to catch that? He's a special talent. I think it's the best decision that the Eagles have made in the last 3 years was choosing him. And I'm so glad that we finally got a new that star receiver that we've so desperately needed. So I mean, we'll see.
All right, here you go. Last one for you. Phillies making the playoffs?
Yeah. You know what?
Was that Northeast Nat I was talking to just then, or was that like objective, Natalie?
That was that's both. Just because what I love about baseball season is it's so long, and you kind of have seen in the past when these teams get this energy about them, and they seem to find a rhythm, whether it's with the bats or getting those getting those moments where the other team doesn't have it all, right? So I've been watching the Phillies and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, they just have this cohesive energy, and it seems like they're feeding off of each other now, right? It's like Bryce had that in the park home run yesterday. I mean, it was an error, but he still made it home. And then Didi comes up right after him and crushes one. So they're feeding off of that momentum. And if they can keep that going, baseball is such a particularly nuanced game that it's those little teeny moments that are going to make or break it. And they seem to be getting more of those moments in their favor than not the case. And that it reminds me of the 2008 Phillies in a little bit. Well, maybe 2007. Maybe.
Gotcha. Things really falling into place. Yeah.
So falling into place in finding an identity as a team. That's what I feel like I'm seeing right now. And they didn't have that the last couple of years. They didn't,
last decade, it feels like.
Well, the last decade, we can talk about the Phillies farm system until the cows come home. But it seems that they're finding their identity as a team. And I think that that's the first step toward being a good team and a team that competes year after year after year, which we have not had in a decade. So I'm optimistic about them. And I think they're going to make the playoffs. Why not?
I love
Race for MVP.
There we go. Now, at the beginning of this, I told you that we had a little special something for you at the end of this interview. You and I obviously share an affinity for Frank Sinatra. We love Frank Sinatra. Oh. We also share a movie with share a love of the movie, the critically acclaimed, I believe, multi-Oscar winner, Academy Award winning film, Wayne's World.
Yes.
So if you would indulge me, I have 5 Wayne's World trivia questions, and I'd love to run by you.
Woo,
And if
I'm
you
so
could just
excited.
all right, here we go. So Wayne's World, party time. Excellent. Here we go. First question. First question.
Okay.
What was the name of Cassandra's band?
Crucial Taunt.
There we go. Okay, 1 for 1. Here we go. Wayne was from Aurora, which was a suburb of which major American city?
I'm from Aurora, Illinois. Chicago.
Bam! Right there. Which is a suburb of Chicago.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. What was the name of the machine that Garth, quote, allowed to be put on his melon?
It sucks as it cuts.
Is that where it's not just a clever name? Is that where the line?
No, that's the shitty Beatles. I can
that's
curse,
the shitty
right?
Beatles. That's right.
I can
That's
curse,
right.
right?
Damn it! When he's talking to Meatloaf.
How are they? The shitty Beatles. They're terrible. So it's not just a clever name. I bet you if I sat here, I could probably recite the whole film from start to finish. If I had some sort of like
Cocktail.
Yeah, I could probably just start at the beginning. Hi, my name's Warren Campbell, and I'm from Aurora, Illinois. I have an extensive collection of name tags and hairnets.
I've had plenty of Joe jobs, but nothing
Yes.
I'd call a career. All right. I think between the two of us, we got it covered. All right. Question number 4. So far, you're 3 for 3. Question number 4. What does Stacy get Wayne for their non-existent anniversary?
A gun rack? You got me a gun rack? I don't even own a gun, let alone many guns that would necessitate an entire rack. We broke up. Are you mental? Get the net. You know what, Wayne? If you're not careful, you're going to lose me. I lost you 6 months ago, Stacy. Try
Psycho
me.
Hose beast.
Try-
Psycho hose beast.
Try me.
All right. Last one. All right. This is tough.
Okay.
What does Garth find in Benjamin's drawer that makes him go, ew?
Ribbed for her pleasure. Ew.
For bonus points, sing Noah's Arcade theme song.
It's, oh my God, wait. It's cool. It's hip. It's fresh. It's
Come bust a move where the games are played. It's cool.
It's hip. It's Noah's Arcade. As Sphincter says, what?
You want me to say what? Like, I don't know what it means. All right, anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, you know her, you love her. Check her out, Parks Casino. All the great content. She's one of the most followed media members in all of Philadelphia sports. Natalie Aganoff. Natalie, congrats on the new gig. Congrats on the success of the Lipstick League as well.
Thank you.
Congrats on all of it. Couldn't be happier for you, friend.
Thank you. Thank you for the Wayne's World portion of the evening.
That
That made
was
my
selfish.
day.
That was just selfish. That was selfish on my part.
That made my day.
I think that entertained 2 people, and we're the 2 people.
That's okay. That's okay.
Natalie Aganoff, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out all the stuff she's going to be doing for the Parks Casino Sportsbook. Thanks for joining us here on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.
Thanks. Bye, Mark.
Bye. Absolutely one of my favorite people on the planet. And you know, who knows? Apparently, looking at the comments here, maybe I just didn't entertain her and I. Maybe I entertained others. So it was good. Maybe we entertained others, I should say. But I do thank her very much for jumping on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. I do have a picture of the handlebar mustache. And I have a picture. I did not load it up. I'll have to do that a little bit later. Maybe I'll get that to you guys a little bit, maybe tomorrow or whatever. But I swear to you, it was one day. And I distinctly remember I rocked a goatee for maybe 6 months. It was a long time. It was a little bit longer than I should have. And I remember I shaved the goatee the morning I woke up to go to Wing Bowl it would have been 2009. Yeah, it would have been following the 2008 season when the Phillies won. It would have been 2009 because we had the World Series trophy there, and I remember it was a big to-do to get it there. But I remember getting it there, and I remember waking up, and I was going to dress like a member of the 93 Phillies for whatever stupid reason. And I shaved the chin of the goatee and just kept the handlebars. I have a picture. I'll get it for you. We'll show it later in the week. And we'll have our fun with some of that. Yeah. Wayne's World's a phenomenal picture. It was robbed. It should have won many Academy Awards. But anyway, my thanks again to Natalie Aganoff for joining us there on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line. When you have orthopedic issues, by the way, you need a physician who eats, sleeps, and breathes orthopedics. You need an exceptionally specialized Rothman Orthopaedics physician. They not only specialize in orthopedics, but each of their physician only focuses in on one area of the body. So that means you can have the confidence to get past the pain and be what you were. That's right. Be what you were. Visit them in one of their 30-plus locations in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, including 4 orthopedic-only urgent cares. I actually probably need to make an appointment. My old shoulder here, and separated to playing football years ago. I think it's time I see a Rothman Orthopaedics physician. Learn more at RothmanOrtho.com. That's RothmanOrtho.com. As a matter of fact, on the drive out to Pittsburgh, we made decent time on the way out there. But maybe about 2.5 hours into it, just pain, man. Just pain. I got to go see Rothman. I was palling around with some friends playing some football when I was in college. And, of course, we were playing tackle with no pads like a bunch of idiots. And sure enough, boom, separated the shoulder. So make sure you trust Rothman Orthopaedics. I'm going to have to make an appointment with them in the not-too-distant future here. Also, let me tell you about Steak and Maine. SteakandMaine.com. Fine dining in the heart of Northeast Maryland. Whether you dine in a more upscale steakhouse or casual bar and patio there, at Steak and Maine, you'll enjoy the highest quality of prime meats, fresh seafood, world-class oyster bar, and freshly prepared sushi. My man Tony Cavada also wants to hook you up with some delicious wine. Cavada Cellars Wines. If you're going to Steak and Maine, what do I tell you got to get? We'll have some sushi. Nice little appetizer right there. Have some sushi. Then you got to enjoy the 2-pound tomahawk steak from Steak and Maine. Nothing short of spectacular. I recommend the Cavada Cellars Wines Pinot Noir. It is just fantastic. The wine pairing right there is exquisite, succulent with that nice steak, and top it off with that Pinot Noir of Cavada Cellars Wine. So do what I do. Check out Steak and Maine in the heart of Northeast Maryland, and then have yourself a time. Let's jump into our social media check-in brought to you by Steak. Oh, I got to tell you about PHL Sports Station, PHLSportsStation.com, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience, covering all things Philadelphia, Philadelphia Sports Nation, and PHLSportsStation.com. Make sure you're following all that's going on with the Phils, the Sixers, Flyers, and the Eagles, obviously, as well throughout training camp. All right, now let's jump into our social media check-in brought to you by Steak and Maine at SteakandMaine.com. I'm producing the show today, folks, so I get to show you guys some fine comments. Dan is blaming Aaron Nola for the loss yesterday, and I don't disagree. There were a couple of instances where you're watching Aaron Nola yesterday. Excuse me. You're watching Aaron Nola, and he was missing his spots. And it's one of the most easiest things you could tell in all sports is when you watch a catcher call for a pitch down and away, and that pitch ends up going over the middle of the plate, or it ends up going high and inside. That's a pitcher being erratic. And that's what you saw a lot of yesterday with Aaron Nola and his start. Just a bad start overall. And I think the Phillies had plenty of opportunities to get some runs for themselves in the 5th inning, and they just did not capitalize. 5th or 6th inning, they had the bases loaded. I think they only got 1 run out of it. You can't let that happen here, fellas. But Nola was definitely not having his best stuff, as we've said many times through the majority of his starts this season. We've said that he did not have his best stuff. But in this particular game, there were a couple of hits, and I think it was Indy, as a matter of fact, who had a couple of big hits in that game. Really, throughout the series, had a couple of big hits, where the ball was 6 inches outside the outside corner of the plate, and you just watch guys drop the barrel down and put it in the opposite field. A little opposite field action. Those were good pitches by Aaron Nola to at least get those guys to take a hack at it, but to be able to put the bat on the ball was some bad luck as well. So Nola did not create a lot of good luck for himself, unfortunately. He takes another loss on the season, and this is not going to be, he hasn't been able to do it all year. And as much as I'd love to say I believe that he is going to go down one of those stretches that we've seen him go through a couple of different times, a couple of stretches that I've highlighted where you see him go for those that month, 2 months, whatever it might be, of 6 innings, 7 innings, and no more than 2 runs. I just don't feel it. He hasn't been able to do that all year, go through a consistent stretch of that of more than, 3 good starts in a row? You can't have that from a guy that's supposed to be a top end of the rotation type of pitcher. Zach Wheeler obviously struggled in this series as well. Your bullpen didn't have the best game yesterday either. So you look at all this stuff from this Phillies team, and you need a much better version of baseball as you're going to go into this series against the Arizona Diamondbacks. More on that in just a second, as I was saying earlier. But Nola certainly did not look good over the weekend. Let's see what else do we have here. What? Oh my goodness, people! Look who it is, Benny, the old sandbagging SOB. How are you, buddy? Nice to have you back. My account was reported and banned. Sealski, obviously a suspect, number one.
Dan and everybody in the chat, I am not an animal.
I mean, you guys can choose to believe him or not. But Benny, good to have you back. We were worried sick. All of us. Brian, good morning. Mally, hello once again. Everyone's celebrating Benny's return. I'm not kidding, man. We were sending out a search party. I was on the pod beat for that time and heard the welfare checks. What did I just miss here? Oh, I've never felt more loved and cared about. Benny, hey man, this early morning chat, we're all here for each other. No, I did not do a weather report with Natalie, guys. He played ball well, but put the ball where the ball should be while playing ball. I love ball. Nick Ciriotti. Thank you, Dan. Hosting, producing, and Dan, God bless you. Oh, April, what's going on, April? Rick, what's popping? Benny all over the chat today. Benny, what else you got going on today? Damn, Mark. Mally is saying this. Damn, Mark, don't even remember how much weed he smokes. Benny then chimes in. More than any human should consume in a sitting. And Matt Moore with a beta move, just being cool with being yanked. Benny, you're not far off right there. Look, whatever. I can't imagine having a start like that. And your manager comes over to you and be like, I have to take you out. And me being like, okay, I can see why you'll do that. That's totally fine with me. I like to not at least fight for one inning, like one more inning. And maybe, like, I feel like Joe Girardi would have said, I tried to take him out after 5. And he just says, no, Joe, don't take me out yet. I feel like a manager will always tell tell the media an instance where the pitcher didn't want to come out. And obviously that didn't happen here. I think Joe Girardi, being a former catcher of all people, would know that move's got to go out there. Or that story would have to be out there. Cecil's checking in. A lot of you guys loving up on Nat, as you should. She's awesome. April saying she loves Nat. She's awesome. Knows her stuff. Doesn't have any problems telling people when they are wrong. No, she doesn't. I don't think I've ever met anybody from the Northeast that doesn't enjoy telling people or not shying away from people that are wrong. I do love Northeast Philly. For whatever reason, I don't know. I think I might have told you guys this before. And Natalie certainly falls into this category. Not that we went to Temple together, but all my friends at Temple, for whatever reason, all my closest friends at Temple were all Northeast kids. And maybe because, I grew up in I don't know, Bucks County. I grew up like maybe 25 minutes, 30 minutes away from Northeast Philadelphia. I found out recently, I used to go to this bar all the time with some buddies, Whiskey Tango. Do you guys remember this place, Whiskey Tango? It was, I guess, it was before Byberry on Bustleton. But I thought for the longest time, before I moved into Philadelphia proper, like I thought that was Huntington Valley for the longest time. And it was like, my buddy finally broke the news. He's like, well, we're here in Northeast Philadelphia. What do you expect? I'm like, what do you mean we're here in Northeast Philadelphia? I thought it was Huntington Valley. No, not at all. It was definitely Northeast Philly. But anyway, I'm an idiot. Dan's checking in. Chris checking in. What's up, Chris? Good morning. Julian, what's going on? Congratulating Nat. Nice to see you, Julian. Cautiously optimistic people in the Eagles, talking about 7 wins there. Larry's checking in. Need the Phillies to return to the playoffs. Larry, I can't tell you how much I would enjoy playoff baseball right now. I got a hankering for it, and I just need to see the Phillies back in first place as fast as humanly possible. Rob's checking in. What's going on? Seems like you guys really enjoyed the Wayne's World pop quiz that I sprung on Natalie. Zach's remembering Whiskey Tango. April knew Whiskey Tango. That place, I had myself some times at Whiskey Tango. I had myself a lot of good times at Whiskey Tango, as a matter of fact. To the point where like if I drive by, if I'm going back to the burbs or whatever, and I drive by I forget what it's called now, but if I drive by, my wife will look at me and be like, and I'm like, Anyway, I had myself sometimes. Thanks everyone in the chat. Thanks everyone chiming in on the show. Always appreciate you guys. Let's see. What do you have here? Ray's popping up a question here. Oh, that's April. Sorry. Where's Ray? Ray, right there. Ray, what's going on, brother? They should try Nola with Knapp. Seems like him and JT throw the wrong pitches at the wrong time. Look, I kind of miss the days. Like, who was it that would always catch? Who would always catch Greg Maddux? It was always the backup catcher, because they're only concentrating on calling a good game and catching a good game as opposed to going up there and free swinging and trying to make something happen with the bat. Like, that was one of the philosophies. I think Tim McCarver would talk about that a lot. That's one of the stories from him that always sticks out in my head. But I just look at it, and I'm at a point now with Aaron Nola. It's whatever you can do to find consistency. And I'm not sure at this point in the season they're going to make that change, but it's whatever you can do to find that consistency. And I'm hoping they do that sooner rather than later. I just doubt that they make that change at this point in the season. So I'm hoping that they actually have that. Bustleton and Philmont. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you. It does change all the time. Whiskey Tango. I forget what it is now. Like Wolves Moon or something crazy. It might be some Irish pub name now, as a matter of fact. But I could be totally wrong on that. Dee, we got Mike checking in on the show. What's up, Mike? Dee was so don't. Yeah, there's talking about rumors here. I think Zach is saying that my kid was born at Whiskey Tango. That is not true. That I can say she was born in a hospital, a nice sanitary environment. Definitely not by the pool tables at Whiskey Tango. I can tell you that much. Or the punch machine in the way back. By the way, if you weren't at this bar, I'll just tell you this. I remember they would sell, I think, pizza. Yeah, they'd sell pizza late at night. They'd make pizza that was pretty damn good. At like right before last call, I remember they would sell pizza, and that was fantastic. That was like a lifesaver in so many instances. And I remember all of a sudden, I'd been there a million times, and I then discovered they had a sports bar in the back. It was like you'd go through like the stage area, the dance floor area, the big bar, pool tables, and then there was a little walkway, and then like a little doorway, and there was a big sports bar in the back, and then they had another club upstairs. This place had it all. It was living. It was living, folks. Good old Whiskey Tango. Oh, you said conceived there. Okay. No, that didn't happen either. But anyway, I appreciate you. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Appreciate you very much. And always, as per usual. All right, now Zach is saying, the fact that you were defensive with her being born there as if there was a chance that was possible is slightly concerning. Thank you, Zach. Appreciate you. Once again, thanks to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you guys chiming in on the show. Let's get into our morning rush, brought to you by Sky Motorcars and SkyMotorcars.com. Tyler Gilbert, pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Phillies are about to face the Arizona Diamondbacks 7 times, I believe, in the next 3 weeks. Tyler Gilbert threw a no-hitter yesterday in his first ever Major League start. You probably heard by now, but in case you haven't, do you know who drafted the the kid, Tyler Gilbert? That would be the Philadelphia Phillies. And they traded him for that Garlic guy, that Garlic guy a couple of years ago. Well, first Major League start for Tyler Gilbert. Bada boom, bada bing. He's 1 for 1 in pitching no-hitter. And there you go. He gets the no-hitter. How about that? So that's what I got for you as far as that goes. Will, I mentioned earlier, the Eagles that made the so far top 50, the 50 to 100. The NFL released their countdown, top 100 players in the NFL. Brandon Graham came in at number 99. Brandon Graham came in at number 99. Jason Kelsey came in at number 92. Fletcher Cox came in at number 63 for your Philadelphia Eagles. So that's a nice thing to see right there. Also, want to be able to show you guys this. Sixers concluded the Summer League over the weekend, just last night. B-Ball Paul's stat line in his last game. This comes by way of the great people of Philly Voice. Paul Reed's final stat line, 27 points. It was a losing effort to the Timberwolves, unfortunately. Came down to the wire. 27 points, 20 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, 4 blocks. Reed becomes the second player in Summer League history to notch at least 20-plus points, 20-plus rebounds in a single game. Alan Williams was the first to do so. Hats off to B-Ball Paul and all he was able to do in the Summer League. Tyrese Maxey obviously had a great Summer League. B-Ball Paul was reading Kyle Neubeck, our friend Kyle Neubeck on Philly Voice before the show today, and he thinks, and I agree with him, the guy that helped his stock the most was Paul Reed. And I want to see the guy get an opportunity. People that work their ass off deserve an opportunity. People that produce, not just work hard, but also produce, they need to get an opportunity. So I'm hoping B-Ball Paul is able to get that opportunity. Phillies off today. They're going to get things underway once again tomorrow in Arizona. So they got a travel day here. We'll see how it goes with the Phillies. I wanted to get you guys the pitching, the thing. Kyle Gibson will go for the Phillies tomorrow night. 9:40 start time tomorrow, and Wednesday, 3:40 start time Thursday afternoon. And then it'll be Zach Wheeler back on the bump for the Phillies. So it goes Gibson, Suarez, and Wheeler in this series. And then Matt Moore will look to have another hell of an outing, let's hope, coming up on Friday night at 10:10. So Matt Moore will get that start. Then Aaron Nola back on the bump for the Phillies after that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everybody. Always great catching up with you guys over a weekend. Tomorrow we got a happy Hughesday morning coming with our good friend Hugh Lamont Douglas III. And I am working on securing a very special Phillies guest for us coming up later in the week. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. My thanks to Natalie Aganoff for hanging out with us this morning. Make sure you guys check that out. Make sure you hit subscribe on our YouTube page and also wherever you get your podcasts as well. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. I'm going to head back to Whiskey Tango now and have myself a time. Have a good day, everybody. Oh, this is a Buzz Sports and Entertainment production. There you go. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Take it easy.